Hi, it's Aaron from IMG, and it's another episode of Monologues. When we started Monologues, there was a lot of turmoil going on in the world. It was the beginning of the pandemic. Racial tensions were high in the US. And of course, the ever looming climate change was happening. But, as we maneuvered our way through this, we really wanted to figure out a way to stay creatively inspired, engaged with the fashion business, even though we were all, you know, in our homes. And we wanted to stay excited. And one of the things that we started doing with our very, very talented and creative marketing and development team was shooting via remote, shooting over FaceTime, shooting from your homes, in your own clothes, styled by the team of managers at IMG, and really having fun with it during such uncertain times. And I find, and hopefully everybody else does, that thinking creatively and acting creatively when you can't do much else is such a comfort, and it's just something to sort of settle into until everything is up and running. So that without further ado, we're going to start talking to Shayna McNeil, Grace and Cassady Clover, and Cheikh, all of which are amazing talent with IMG and have shot via remote with our favorites Patrick and Xavier. And we're going to talk about the business in general and what's everybody's excited for moving forward, the differences of shooting at home and shooting in a studio. And of course, the question everybody wants to know the answer to is how you were found, how you were scouted. So let's start with that one. I'd like to start with the Clover sisters. Where are you guys coming from today?
I'm Grace, this is Cassady, so just to clarify. We're in Canterbury in Kent, which is about an hour from London, if anyone's not from England. But yeah, that's where we are today. This is just in our bedroom.
And how did you guys get your start in the business? How were you found, or how were you introduced?
Well, I was actually scouted first. I was scouted at a wedding party, and I came into IMG, and like Levi, our agent, was asking about what my family was like, and if I had any like siblings, and I was like, well, I do actually have a sister who's like kind of looks just like me, but is like taller, and he was just like, what? Can we see photos? And so I guess Grace sent in some photos and got signed on too.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm really oversimplified.
Yeah, no, it was an easier experience for me. I'd been scouted a couple of times just on the street when I was younger. And then, as Cass said, I joined after she was scouted. I met the team then.
Didn't start getting into it until she saw me having so much fun.
Cheikh, what about you?
Okay, so I was literally walking in Paris next to Bastille, and there was a guy. He was a scouting director. He just asked me if I wanted to go to his agency and just try to do a casting. And I don't know, I was like, yeah, why not? Because before I already have been scouted, but I never been like really attracted, and I was like, no, sorry. But that time, I don't know, I trust him and I went there with the casting, and then he called me back to get me to on a show. And after that, I already had like some agencies who wanted to sign me directly.
Amazing. I love that you guys have that in common, that, it was something as simple as walking down the street, and also something that happened numerous times, because I think, one of the things about the fashion business that is so unique to others is that it really is all about timing sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Whether you're ready to become a model, whether you're interested, from one moment to the next, like you said, you were scouted a few times and stopped.
Yes.
And then, then it became the moment that it was right for you.
Exactly.
Shayna, how are you today? Shayna McNeil,
I'm
everybody.
good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Kieran, what's your origin story? How were you found? How did you get started?
I was scouted in a farmer's market in my hometown of Calgary, Alberta, and a lady just approached me while I was trying to buy some buttered chicken after school, and she introduced me to an agency, a mother agent in Calgary, and then IMG found me through their Instagram, and then I signed with IMG.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the business in general, since you guys are all sort of like on the same ascent career-wise. What was something that really spoke to you as you began your career? Sheikh, like you said, you know, you were scouted and they were bringing you jobs. What was that first thing that you were like, yes, I want to do this. This is great.
So I was actually shooting in New York for a cover, and that was actually my first time going there. So I was really excited. And no, actually, it was before. Sorry. So I went to New York for a show, and that was a Saint Laurent show, and that was one of my first big show. And actually, I wasn't expecting one time to go to New York or anything, and I actually went there for the show, and the place was so nice. Everything was so good that I felt like, okay, now we're really into it, and it's so beautiful. I really love the experience, and so far, with any job I have done, that's still one of the best feeling I had from a job I did. So that was the moment I was like, okay, go for it, keep doing it, because this is just like the career you need.
Cool. And you know how you were shot via remote by Xavier.
Yeah.
How did that differ than actually, you know, being in person surrounded by like the chaos of fashion? Were you as excited? Were you a bit more nervous because it was, you know, there's screens in between everybody and
Yeah.
it's digital? You want to speak about that?
It's pretty new when we didn't expect to like do jobs during like I mean shooting during the quarantine, and that was pretty chill because of course there was not all the mess around the teams and stuff, but it was more free. We had it was more spontaneous, you know. We just did what we felt that was cool, and Xavier was so cool. He was chill, giving me advices, and we built the whole thing together. So I felt more involved on what I was working on more than when I'm on set, and I'm much more following like the step that people tell me to follow and everything like that.
Hi everyone. And no, check, yeah, just like everything you said is so spot on. I was so like perplexed at like how collaborative the whole process was. It was so different than any other shoot I had ever did, and I'm guessing you as well. Where it's like I was kind of guiding you through FaceTime, and you were kind of like coming up with
Yeah.
your own ideas. It felt very like a team effort, which was so nice.
Yeah.
And like especially given the circumstances of everything, so it was really cool actually.
You know, what were those similarities between shooting in person and shooting remotely with Patrick?
I did really enjoy being more a part of kind of the creative process, and it was definitely interesting doing my own hair and makeup. Definitely gonna leave that to the professionals, but I really enjoyed being able to pull my own pieces of clothing for the styling. I thought that was really fun. Glenn styled the shoot I did with Patrick, and it was a lot of fun, him picking out all the different clothes, me running into my mom and dad's closet, pulling my dad's suits, like my mom's shoes and that kind of thing. So that was really interesting, and I feel like I got to discover some new outfits that I never would have thought to put together. So that was really fun.
Grace and Cassady, you know, you were shot via FaceTime as well. What was that experience like for you? You know, how did it feel similar to your experiences pre the pandemic? How did it feel different? And what did you really love about it?
Well, I would definitely resonate with what's been said thus far about an extra creativity and a collaboration. I I really enjoyed the way that as we were so involved, the idea process just grew and grew.
How do you think that will change the way you approach in-person jobs? Is it more about building, the sort of relationship with a photographer or a stylist, having a conversation? Do you think you feel comfortable doing that?
Because I think definitely the sort of networking and getting to know different people is part of the main things I really love about the job. So it's definitely something that I think we ought to take on post this like COVID era, because I think this really links back to what you were saying in the intro about the climate change and the pandemic. And there's a lot of issues which are going to go away. So I think increasingly we're going to have to bring forward this creativity and this collaboration. And I've certainly felt that in the few things I've done coming out of quarantine. I've really felt that it felt fresher, and it felt that we were working together in a new way. And it's something I've really enjoyed, definitely.
Super excited to get traveling again. There's nothing I love more than exploring a new city and meeting new people and that kind of thing. And it's been very interesting. I've shot once since coming out of quarantine. I've done one in-person shoot, and that was in New York about a week ago. And everyone was just had so much energy and was so excited to be on set again and be collaborating in person, which I really loved. And the energy was just amazing. And I think there's going to be a lot more different kinds of, I think people, when they were in quarantine, it really forced them to be extremely creative when you're in such a confined space. So I'm really excited to see everyone's ideas kind of take form from the things that they were kind of cooking up in quarantine, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
Patrick and Xavier, on the flip side of it, what was it like for you guys to shoot remotely as creatives? And what did you enjoy about it?
For me personally, with FaceTime shoots, I found it really interesting because it was something that I had never thought about doing. It's something that never crossed my mind really at all. And I also didn't think, once we did start thinking about it and exploring the ways to make it happen, I also didn't think that it was going to be possible to get the quality that we got. So in the end, I was really surprised. I think we all kind of surprised ourselves a little bit with what we were able to achieve from them, basing off no knowledge of how to do something like this beforehand. You agree?
Absolutely. And I think, like you said, what really like spoke to us all was when we saw the final images, and we were making like these layouts to send out, of course, to the board, but then we started posting them like on our Instagram, and they were just gaining like so much traction, and people really like, I think, responded to it. And I think just really like, just looking back on it at that time, it's like, it's so crazy because it was so born out of like necessity. We just couldn't be in person to do shoots of like the models, couldn't fly to New York. We couldn't fly to them. So it was just nuts that like this was kind of like our only option, and still it like came out like just so epic and so cool. And that people responded really nicely to it, and it was so collaborative, like working with Shaq and working with the Clover sisters and Matisse, Shayna, everyone. Like it was such an incredible experience. Yeah.
Totally agreed. And I could see even in the future us, continuing to do things like this, because it kind of opened up a new avenue for maybe, models who aren't able to get to a major city to do a test shoot or something, who maybe live in a more remote area, who it's a little harder for them. It kind of showed that part of it is possible. And to me, I don't know, any kind of innovation in that way is always kind of an exciting thing for me. So.
Okay, cool. Just really quick, I think we'll ask one more question of everybody. And I would love if you could just sort of give a question that inspires the kids at home that want to be models or are thinking about it, and just something that speaks to you.
My advice would be to just know that everything happens for a reason, and if things end up falling through or things are canceled or you don't get a big job that you want, just like rely that and know that something better is coming, kind of thing, and to people who want to start modeling and that kind of thing, honestly, put yourself out there is a big one, and don't be afraid to just be yourself, because I think that when you're yourself, it's the most attractive kind of thing. And when you're being photographed, I feel like when you're really confident in yourself, it shines through a lot. So, yeah.
So my advice would be like, okay, I mean, like I really agree with what Xavier and Philip said before. Like it was a kind of new way to work with the FaceTime shoot, and everything is going around right now. We have to do everything on with computers, Zoom Live. So it's kind of like the advice that I can give to people about that. I feel like we are on the period in which like people can really be more creative, and some people that cannot like fly somewhere or go to some agencies, I feel like they can be more confident posing in front of their phones, try to sell themselves, try to do something more really creative and create a kind of atmosphere, set design, and take the picture, send it to the agencies. That I think it's the right period to do it, because right now everything is really slow. Everyone is questioning themselves. Sorry, and yeah, so it's the right moment right now to just wake up, trust themselves, and try to give the best of themselves on pictures and on the way they really want to get signed on agencies.
I'll start and then you can take over.
Yeah, you go for it.
I mean, this is something that I've really noticed and taken on because of the pandemic, but it would definitely be applied generally, is I've just realized the importance within all industries, but particularly within this industry, the importance of the connections you make with the people you meet. And particularly during the pandemic, I've found that everyone's under more stress, more strain, and is working in new ways. And I've really found that just a bit of patience and understanding goes a really long way. And I think that it's a daunting prospect going into or wanting to go into a new industry, and to know that actually a lot of people are in a similar position, and it's just all about how you present yourself and how you can be friendly and helpful to other people, take you a long way, particularly within an agency, but also on set or in any jobs you were doing.
Yeah, I don't know if I have much to add to that, but I sort of feel the same. Like, you just be yourself, and I think everyone kind of loves you to have your character coming through, and if particularly with in quarantine when there's been a lot of collaborative work, it's really helped a lot of people kind of see kind of shoots in a different way. They think of it as more of a collaborative thing, and actually people kind of looking for people to not like take over the whole show, but just to kind of be really up for anything and kind of bring themselves to the job. Really, I think.
I definitely agree with what you say about
don't be scared.
being up for things and being ready for new challenges. I definitely would agree with that.
We'll be seeing you guys very soon, whether it's on a virtual runway or a FaceTime shoot or in a magazine or in a campaign. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. You guys have been great. Thank you, everybody that's tuned into Monologues today. Please subscribe to IMG Models YouTube channel, and stay tuned for what's next. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Nice to chat to you guys.
Bye.